Hello. Hi, everyone. Get my stuff organized here. Yeah, cool. All right. I hope we're live. Okay, so hi, everyone. Welcome to another Exploring IELTS with Fabi. So in these lives, Exploring IELTS with Fabi, we discuss strategies that will help you get the score you need on the IELTS test and do the test only once, okay? Hello, hi, some highs already, okay? My name is Fabi. I'm an English teacher. I teach at English colleges and universities here in Brisbane, Australia, and I help a lot of people get the score they need on the IELTS test, okay? And today, okay, we will talk about the things you can do with your IELTS score. Okay, so yeah, so what you can do with your test results, okay? Because remember, guys, we don't want the IELTS test. We want something else. Okay, and I feel that some people, they end up forgetting that because they focus so much on the IELTS, and they forget what's the main goal. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the main goal here. Okay, so first of all, I am not an immigration lawyer, okay, and I am not an agent. All right, so I don't help students come to Australia, work with visas. I don't do any of that. The information I'm going to share with you today is based on what my students have been doing, what I have been experiencing with them, okay? The reasons they're doing the test, why they're doing the test, and the scores that they need, because I have that information, all right? But of course, each case is different, okay, at least here in Australia. Each thing you want to do, they will require a specific test. It could be either general or academic IELTS. They require a specific score, all right? They depending on your age, all right? And I think Canada is quite similar to that too. Okay, the information I'm going to give you today is about Australia because I live here, so I'm quite aware of what things are like here. Okie dokie. But yeah, so again, the information I'm gonna give you here, it's a general one. And if you want to know more, maybe you can get in touch with the lawyer, know exactly what you can do in your case. All right. Okay. So people do the IELTS test because they need something out of it, right? No one does the IELTS test for fun. All right, unless you really like doing tests, okay? So no one will do the test for fun, and there are reasons why people are doing the test, okay? So if you are thinking about the main reasons people will do the test would be to either live abroad, work abroad, or study abroad, okay? Mostly the countries would be Australia, Canada, England, all right? However, some universities abroad in many different countries will also take the IELTS test. So if you are doing the IELTS test, you're not restricted to specific countries because even some universities will take you, okay? Yeah, so if you're thinking about what you want, the first thing you need to know is, do I have to do the academic test or do I have to do the general test? That's the first thing, okay? And then when you know that, you have to find out the score that you need, okay? Because I was working with a student recently and she told me she needed a 7. I need a 7, need a 7, need a 7. I said, okay, no worries, okay, need a 7, and we're working towards the 7. And then she ended up doing the test and she got 6.5. She was very upset. And then when she found out, she only needed 6.5. I was like, hey, I got it. I'm like, hey, why did you say what does have said? I don't know. You see, guys, so that kind of misinformation might not help you very much, okay? So that's the first thing, okay? And then I'm just going to share with you some of the things, okay, that you can do, all right? So what are the main reasons people would take the IELTS test, and most of my help goes to the people who want to study abroad. Okay, so when I say study, what do I mean? You could go to university in a different country. Okay, you could do a certificate. Okay, lots of in a diploma. Lots of girls here in Australia at the moment, especially girls, they have been working with childcare. All right, so yeah, so that's one thing that you could do. Okay, and that's studying too, and do a master's degree, a PhD. Okay, so all of these things, right, under fall under the umbrella of a studying. Okay, so you could go to uni, you could do a PhD, you could do a master's. Okay, and that's all studying, that's all academic. Okay, so you should be doing the academic IELTS test. However, the score that you need for each of these courses will differ. Okay, so one of the highest scores will be required by the people who want to study health. Okay, so if you want to be a nurse, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a psychologist, you will need anywhere from a 6.5 to an 8. All right, so if you're thinking about studying health, okay, especially here in Australia, usually they require a really high level of English. All right, and again, guys, remember, the reason we're doing the IELTS test is just so people can know that you speak English at a specific level. Okay, so if you want to go to university, okay, and engineers, for example, most schools here require a 6. So if you want to do an engineering course, they require a 6. Okay, and again, even the requirements differ from uni to uni. Okay, so maybe one university will take specific tests, other ones won't. Some will take what we call pathways. Okay, others will ask you for a 6, others will ask you for a 7. So it really depends. So it's all about doing your research. Okay, and knowing what score you need. Okay, guys, because if you don't know what score you need, you're just practicing and doing tests, and then you don't know what's your end goal. Okay, so definitely you should know what test you need to do and the score that you need. Okay, for example, I've been helping some people who are working as social workers here in Australia, and they did a course. So to go to the course, they did a 6 just to start the course. Okay, and it's very common here in Australia too. When you start your process of maybe skills work visa, you know, because you have a skill and you want to come here and you want to work in a specific field because you have that experience already, usually the entry point to start the process is a low level. Sorry, you don't need a high score on the IELTS. You might need a 6, for example. But then if you want to apply for your residency, for example, then you need a higher score. Okay, so it really depends, okay, guys, the score that you need. But I'm just kind of telling you today the things that you can do, the opportunities that you have, basically. Okay, and so the social workers, okay, for example, teachers. If you want to be a teacher in Australia, you need 7 to 8 on the IELTS test. Yeah, okay. I don't know exactly which part. I think maybe speaking and writing is 8 and listening and reading is 7. Not sure now, but you need a really high score. Okay, so that's another opportunity that you might have. So if you're a teacher in your country, then you can actually would like to be a teacher in Australia. You definitely need to do the IELTS test. Okay, and then you have lots of things you have to do to get there. All right, okay, so many opportunities, guys, so many opportunities. Okay, and so usually what happens, like I said before, so here in Australia, I think Canada is quite similar too. They have what they call point system. Okay, and that's how they check what you can do here in Australia, and if you can apply for your residency, if you can do this, you can do that. It's in a point system. Okay, And a lot of people, you gather your documents and you have a certain amount of points. And if you want more points, right? So if you get like a higher score on the IELTS test, you even get more points because they will reward you if your English level is higher. Okay, I'm not sure it happens for every type of visa, but yes, okay, that could happen too. So a lot of people, they say, oh, if I get a 6, I can apply. However, if I get a 7, I get 5 extra points, and I will be able to be in front of everyone else. That's good too. All right. So yeah. So think about that, okay, guys, when you are thinking about your score and doing your research too. Okay. So I talked a little bit about studying here. Okay, but again, just decide on your on the type of course you want to do, and then go ahead and check the score that you need. Okay, and remembering that teaching and health, usually the higher scores. Okay, yeah. Oh, actually, I helped 2 software developers, so IT people. They need a 6. Okay, they needed a 6 overall. So it was a pretty reasonable score. Okay, cool. Then, yeah, professionally speaking, yeah, professional, okay? So a lot of people, they come to Australia and they come to work, okay? And I don't know if you know, but here in Australia, there's a shortage of skilled workers. Okay, so Australia, they need people with specific skills and work experience, and they don't have it, right? So a lot of people come to Australia because they have a specific skill and you can easily get a job here because there's lots of opportunities. All right, but again, it's not just going on LinkedIn, applying from your country, coming here. Not like that at all, okay? There's processes that you have to go through and all of that, but there is the opportunity, all right? Like I mentioned before, I've helped lots of engineers come to Australia, okay? And also some people in the IT area. All right, so these people, they already have their their degrees, they already have the experience, okay, and they decide to come. They get in touch with someone who knows what they need, and then when they know what they need, they get in touch with me and say, hey Fabi, I need a 6. Hey Fabi, I need a 7. Okay, and that's the process. And usually these people, they will be doing the general IELTS. Okay, so if it's for immigration purposes, okay, work purposes, professional purposes, usually you'll be doing the general, so the general IELTS. Okay, and so just an example of what some engineers do, right? So these engineers, they will start the process of becoming engineers in Australia. So when you start that process, you will need a 6 on the IELTS test. Okay, but then once you start the process, if you want to become a permanent resident, then you're required to get a 7 on the IELTS test. You see, so it depends so much on what you want to do, the step you're at, okay, the level you're at. All right, guys. So yeah, so and again, this kind of requirements, they change sometimes. So yeah, so if you are looking for information or if you're looking for someone to help you, make sure that people have the most up-to-date information. Okay, guys, because that's quite important. Because let's say that you were told you need a 6 and then you do the test, get a 6, and then at the end of the day you needed a 6.5. Okay, so be very careful with that. That's quite important too. Okay, yeah, and like I said before, I have been helping a lot of people who are IT. Okay, so they work with IT, and yeah, they need a 6 overall to apply for their residency here. Okay, guys. So yeah, so again, think about the skills you have. Do you want to live abroad? Do you want to study abroad? Okay, Canada, Australia, all these countries. Okay, so when you think about that, you start thinking, do I really want this? What do I want? What can I do? Okay, it is a great idea to contact a lawyer, okay, and just check what you can do if you have this desire of living abroad. All right, okay. And another reason actually that people have been in touch with me, this is quite new to me, it's been happening the last 6 months. Some people, they're doing the IELTS test to prove their English. Yeah. For many years, I worked with the TOEIC exam. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's very popular in France and very popular in Japan. Okay, and actually in France and in Japan, if you are starting a professional life, many jobs, they will require a specific score on this test to prove your English. Okay, so they will require this. Okay, and then people do it. All right, and it's very common for people in Japan to do the test and have that score ready. Okay, to show their employers. All right, but now a lot of people are doing it with the IELTS test too. Yeah, because some companies, they require a specific level of English, and then they will ask you, okay, so you need a 6 on the IELTS test, okay? Because if you're a 6 on the IELTS test, you are about a B2, which means that you're quite fluent, okay? I have a question here. Hey, Lily! Oh no, you're sick. You missed the class. Oh no. That's okay. That's okay. We'll meet again on Friday. Okay, Lily? Okay. Lily's in my course. She's doing really well. Okay, Lily, don't worry. We meet on Friday again. All right, guys. Yeah. So Lily wants to go to Canada. Yeah, she wants to work with with children there, teaching children. Yeah, so that's why we spoke last week. Yeah. You see, guys. So yeah, so all this opportunities. Okay. Yeah. So also here in Australia, I've been helping lots of cooks. Yeah, chefs. Yeah. So in Australia also, there's been a bit of a shortage of cooks, and then some people, they have been working. They've been doing the course, and when they do the course, then they do the IELTS test. To be able to work here, okay, and work on their skills and everything. Okay, yeah. So I was saying that so a lot of people also, they have been doing the IELTS test just to prove the level of English that they have. Okay, and again, most institutions will accept your IELTS test for 2 years, meaning it's valid for 2 years. It expires in 2 years. So if you do your IELTS test today, okay, it will be valid for 2 years. Okay, just because some people might not be in touch with the language and they might lose some of their skills. So maybe they lose the skills, so they won't speak English as well as they did 2 years before. Okay, so that's why they do that. Okay, but it depends on the institutions. Most institutions will say 2 years. Okay, and yeah, guys, so that's it. So basically, you can study abroad. Okay, so you can improve your education. All right, with the IELTS test, that's one possibility. You can, and after you finish your studies, okay, you can apply for your permanent residency, and you can live in another country. Okay, that's another thing. Professionally speaking, okay, if you want to work in your area in another country, especially here, Australia, the IELTS test will open lots of doors. Okay, if you get a good score, that will help you a lot too. Okay, and even if you want to stay in your country, okay, guys, if you have the IELTS test and you're going for a job interview and they ask, so what's your level of English? And you say, oh, I have a 7 on the IELTS test, I have a 6 on the IELTS test, and the person knows what it is, like, oh my God, this person speaks English really well. Okay, they will know your level. Okay, most companies used to ask for the Cambridge exams. Okay, especially in Europe, Cambridge exams are very common to to prove your English level. Okay, however, some countries have been accepting the IELTS test too, so you can prove your English. Okay, so many things you can do, guys, with the IELTS test. I had to do the IELTS test for immigration purposes. I needed 4.5. I got an 8 overall, so that was pretty good. Okay, and that's why I started teaching IELTS. No, actually, I started teaching IELTS a little bit before. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I started teaching the IELTS test, and then within 3 weeks, I was told, you have to do the IELTS test. I was like, what? And it was funny because then I told my students, they were like, what, teacher? And when I went to do the test, I met students there, which was very, very funny. And we were there talking about the test, thinking about strategies before we went in and did the test. It was an interesting experience. All right. Okay, guys. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, maybe I won't be able to answer all of them because I'm not an immigration lawyer, okay? But I can help you with some of them. Oh yeah, so some people here in Australia, yeah. So I've had some students from Europe recently who are on work holiday visas, and they want to stay here a little bit longer. And they are doing the IELTS test to stay in Australia a little bit longer. They need 4.5, it's a really low score actually. Okay, there's a question. Hello, I really have a problem with writing. Okay, yeah. So today we're not gonna talk about writing that much, okay? One thing you can do, why don't you send me a message, okay, a DM, and tell me what your problem is, okay? Tell me what your problem is exactly with writing, and maybe I can do a live on that. So we can discuss it a little bit. Okay, yeah. Because, yeah, guys, writing can be pretty complicated, all right? But it's very simple in my opinion, okay? So just send me a message and say exactly, because you said you have a problem with writing, okay? What is your problem exactly? Maybe just send me a little message, okay? I will read it, and then I will prepare something, okay? Yeah, guys, and if you have questions, if you have some requests, I do have people sending me emails every now and again saying, hey, Fabi, can you talk about this, please? Can you talk about that? And I really like it. Actually, I have a bit of a list. That's how I decide what we're gonna talk about. But yeah, but one thing that I got me this week was that, like people talk about the IELTS test, we have to do the test, and people end up forgetting that actually there's like so many things you can do with the test, okay? And when I tell people, oh, I teach the IELTS test, they go, what do you mean IELTS? And I said, oh my God, and then when I tell them that, basically everyone who's here working in Australia, everyone who's studying had to do this test, people get quite surprised, like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, guys. So again, I think it's important to think about the IELTS test as a step to your goals, a step to your dreams, okay? It's not the test. The test is not it all, okay? The test is just a step so you can get to whatever you want. Because for a lot of people, moving abroad, working abroad, it's like a dream, right? So you'll be able to give a better life to your family, better life for yourself, improve your experience, okay? Just for me, like working as a teacher in Australia, it's so amazing. Working as a teacher in Brazil was really nice too. But here I get to talk to people from all over the world, and I think that's really nice, okay? And you see, so the IELTS exam will give you lots of new opportunities, okay? Maybe there are things that you wanted, maybe there are things that you never thought about, okay? So actually, this week I was talking to a student, and the reason she's doing my course because she thought, oh my God, I never knew that I would be able to do all of these things with the IELTS test. Yeah, guys. So it's all about also the where you can go with the IELTS. All right, okay. So I think that's it for today. All right. If so, guys, if you have any questions, any requests, okay, for lives, I'll be back here on Thursday. All right. And I'll see you then. All right. Okay. See you. Bye-bye.